Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk, the Todd Worsham Show. So today's episode is the healthcare system and some of my personal experiences and my beliefs on the healthcare system. Healthcare system. Sorry, I'm still chasing that damn cold. It just won't go away. So I apologize up front. So anyway, so back in 1992, I experienced a slip disc. I believe I was around 28 or so. And all I did was bend over, and my L4, L5 disc slipped out. Excruciating pain. And at that point in my life, I was pretty hyperactive, pretty much of a busybody. I lived life to the fullest every single day of my life. I worked out every day. I went snorkeling, rode my motorcycle, went to the mountains, had a really good life. And in a nanosecond, all that was just taken from me. It was just gone. So anyway, so I got my first taste of the healthcare system. And man, it was not good. So instead of dealing with the problem and taking care of the problem, they put me through 2 years of what I call Band-Aid medicine. They made me do all this physical therapy stuff. They did this, they did that, chiropractic, stretching, exercising, all this other stuff. And don't forget the drugs. The drugs were probably the worst part of it all. They put me on, at the time I'd never heard of it, they put me on Vicodin, and that completely destroyed my life. It completely destroyed my world, everything. I basically could not function. I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't, my sleeping patterns were thrown off, my eating patterns, all my natural patterns were just completely discombobulated. And the other thing it did that really, really hurt me was it shut down my metabolism, completely shut it down. At that time, I was really healthy. I was in really good shape, probably 180-ish, solid stomach, healthy, strong. And by the time I got to my surgery a couple years later, I was right around 200, 220, and sluggish, lethargic. My focus was gone. My life was just completely different. So at any rate, my point being is they put me through all these Band-Aids instead of just coming out and, removing the disc or doing whatever they knew they should have done. But instead, the system just milked me out like like my insurance was a cash cow. Well, which it was. And I eventually had the surgery, came out of the surgery probably almost worse off than before. I ended up having scar tissue from the surgery, which was probably about the size of a baseball. And when it formed, it wrapped around my sciatica. Now, for any of you out there that have ever had sciatica pain, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't had it, my best description of sciatica pain is to take an ice pick, get it burning fire red hot, and start poking yourself from your lower back all the way down to your foot. And do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, every second of your life. And that's what the pain feels like. It's excruciating. And there is nothing that takes it away. Nothing. No, maybe morphine, but you can't stay on morphine. You can't function on, being on morphine your whole life. So So the Vicodin, it did help. I went to cannabis for a while because I didn't want to do the medication. Well, that was actually on my second surgery. So I went through my first surgery. It relieved some of the pain, and then the pain came back. And it was awful. And then the rest of my disc, which I didn't even understand in the first surgery, that they didn't remove the whole disc. I thought they removed the whole disc, but they didn't. So 18 months later, the rest of it slipped out. So then they were talking about fusing my back. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Even though we didn't have the internet back in those days, I had friends that I knew that were in the healthcare industry. And everybody was telling me at my age, you didn't want to do that. And I didn't realize this at the time, but that was going to put bone on bone. But all I know is I didn't want the arthritis complications that were going to come with fusing. I didn't want that at that young of an age. I wanted my life back. So had the second surgery. It did relieve a lot of the pain for a little while. But then again, it just came back. So that's actually when I went to the cannabis. And that was way better than the Vicodin because on the cannabis, I was able to sleep. I was able to get my sleep patterns back into normal. I was able to get my eating patterns back to normal. And it took that sharp edge off to where I could get some type of focus. But the industry that I'm in, aviation industry, you can't do that. You'll lose. I'll lose my aim. I'll lose all my FAA certificates, and it was really bad. So I had to stop, and I just had to deal with it because I knew that like taking ibuprofen or Aleve or any of those types of over the counter stuff, I knew eventually that would just whack out my liver. And I'm not sure about your kidneys, but I knew it would whack out my liver. And I didn't want to deal with that because in the aviation industry, we deal with a lot of carcinogenic chemicals to begin with. So I didn't want to add insult to injury on all that. So I just stopped everything and started stretching and, doing exercises. And I found the thing that worked for me the best was massage therapy. But of course, healthcare doesn't take care of that. So what I was starting to learn from all this was that if there is a solution to your problem that will fix you permanently, the healthcare system won't pay for it. Now, they'll pay for thousands of Band-Aids, but they absolutely will not pay for a final fix solution. And I was just so frustrated that I just said, screw it all. And I just moseyed on through life, dealing with the pain. And in 2014, I threw another disc. And that was between, I think, my L3 and L4. So here I am again, back to the ice pick. Well, the ice pick never really left me, but it got heated up and, the pain went back to the excruciating level. It started back in the 90s. So, excuse me. So here I am. I'm a lot older. And I didn't know how to deal with it. And I couldn't work. So I tried to get on the system. I thought, well, I've been paying into the system my whole life. And I should be able to just go down to, the I hate to say this word, but the welfare office or whatever, disability is where I went to. And because I made so much money the year before, I didn't qualify for benefits when I needed them. So again, I got frustrated because I'm thinking, well, okay, I made all this money, last year, but because I haven't been able to work for all these months, which was actually almost a year, I sucked everything dry. I was out of money. and I needed to, pay my mortgage and make my truck payment and, food and all that, just the basic living expenses. And I couldn't do that anymore. I wasn't raised to take handouts. I wasn't raised to live off a system. I was raised to take care of myself, and I was raised to work. I was raised to produce, to be part of, society and do my part. So not only does it do a physical, not only do you go through physical problems, but when you go through a trauma like this, what a lot of people don't talk about is your emotional and your mental state. When you take away all your mobility and you take away all the freedoms that you had one moment ago and take all that away, I don't know about everybody, but me, it sent me straight down into a depression that was just unbelievable, because I just couldn't do basic things. I couldn't bend over, tie my shoes. I could barely dress myself. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't take care of myself. And I'm in my 50s by that time, and I'm just like going, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not going to sit on disability and sit on the couch and become 350 pounds. That ain't happening to me. I'm not doing it. So by God's will, I believe, I met somebody at my church and who worked for a school district, and they had told me there were some openings. And I'm like, okay, so what are the openings for? He goes, yeah. He goes, I know it's kind of a crap job, and I know you're used to making all this money, and and you're a professional, all that kind of stuff, but it's a janitor. I said, yeah. I said, well, so what are the benefits like? And he goes, oh, they pay for everything. You don't pay a dime out of your pocket for any of the benefits. Everything's free. So I'm thinking, since the system isn't going to help me, I'll just do what I know what to do. I'll go back to work. So I went back to work, and the benefits started immediately on day one. So within the first couple of weeks, I already had a doctor's appointment. I went in, they did the CAT scans, the MRIs, they did all that stuff. And they said, oh yeah, your back's messed up. Okay, cool. So just like before, they handed me Vicodin, but this time I got Vicodin ES. Extra stupid. Ended up eating like 16 a day just to get me through work. I worked at night. And the good thing is I found a facility that wasn't into the Band-Aids, but more into like getting straight to the problem. But there were Band-Aids. I mean, I had to go through a certain amount of therapies that were completely useless, completely time wasting, money wasting. And then eventually I got to the surgery, but it was a lot quicker than my first ones. I mean, it was way quicker. I mean, I excuse me. I was probably in surgery within, I think, 6 to 8 months or so. And I was getting local injections up and down my leg and in my back to take care of the pain, which the injections lasted maybe a couple days. And that, in conjunction with the Vicodin, I was just making it through from day to day. I mean, it was just a day-to-day thing. So, but got there, got the surgery. And at the end of the surgery, I saw what the bill was. $251,000. Oh my God. $250,000 for this surgery and these Band-Aids. So the surgery lasted probably about 6 months worth of no pain. And then after about 6, 8 months or so, everything started coming back again. I'm frustrated. I started doing massage therapy every week because I did get back to work, back into my field. got medical coverage again, and I started doing massage therapy every week, sometimes even twice a week, and that was getting me through everything, but it still wasn't solving my problem. So I heard of this, I don't know what you want to call it, this therapy called stem cell therapy. And I kind of remembered something about it, and I want to think it was in the 90s, or it was during the Bush administration, because I remember there's that big thing that they were talking about killing babies to get stem cells, and I really didn't pay attention to it too much at the time, because that's not actually what they did. But anyway, I don't want to get off subject. So I started doing some research in the stem cell therapy, and I found a location that was right by my house. And so I thought, what the hell? I'm going to go over there and see how much it costs and see, what it is. And I went online and I researched it, and it had a lot of good reviews, I mean, reviews that were people were saying that 20, 30 years of pain and 20 or 30 years of ailments were just gone, and they never returned ever again. And that from the time that they had the therapy forward, they were starting to feel better and better and better. And I'm thinking, really? So, of course, I call up my insurance company, and of course, they don't provide you for that. They don't take care of that, just like Lasix. But they don't take care of that. So I got the pricing. It was a little pricey, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to gamble it. So I went ahead, made an appointment, and did the stem cell. It was really cool. They do everything right in front of you. They walk you through everything. It took probably hour and a half. And that was probably almost 6 months ago. And I am almost back to where I was before my first back surgery ever happened. Before all this ever happened, my body is getting back to that condition where I can start working out again. I can start running again, because I love running. And it seems like every month my body is healing and getting better and better and better. So that's the point I want to talk about, is how the health care system seems to be based more on Band-Aid therapy than it is for solution therapy. I'm 60 years old now. I have health care, but I don't have a doctor. I don't go to doctors. I don't see doctors. Everybody I know at my age is on probably anywhere between 3 to probably 8 or 10 different pills for all these different supposedly ailments, all these little things. So I'm getting to that age where I'm starting to fall apart. So I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be in the healthcare system. I don't want to be involved with pill taking, and because for every pill you take, there's a side effect. And then for that side effect, there's another side effect. So it's like, do I really want to pump my body through full of all these chemicals that my body doesn't even know what they are? Or what do I do? So I decided to go down the homeopathic route. But of course, my health coverage doesn't cover homeopathic. So on homeopathic, basically what they do is they take your DNA, they take your blood, and instead of breaking it down to, like, most doctors, when you go do a blood work, they only take maybe 2 or 3 vials. Well, when you go to homeopathic, they take like 6 or 7 of them. And what they do is they break your blood down as far as they can, I think. I don't know if it's as far as they can, but they break it down a lot more. And they get into more of all the things that are in your blood and break it down so they can actually really see what's going on in your body. Okay, and then once they do that, then they match that up with certain foods or herbs, minerals, and vitamins, and other natural things that will heal your body. And I'm thinking, well, why won't my healthcare pay for that? Because instead of paying all this money for all these drugs and having all these side effects and creating more problems with my body, I can do natural things that my body understands and my body accepts, and there's no side effects, zero, because these herbs and vitamins and minerals and plants and roots and flowers and leaves and bark and mushrooms and all these things that are given to us by God. I mean, they're on our planet. They belong to us. They're given to us. They're here for us. Are solving our issues. For example, in my herbal book, there's actually leaves and flowers and roots that will flush out all cancerous toxins out of your body naturally. No chemotherapy, no hardcore drugs that your body doesn't know what these things are, doesn't know how to process them. No destroying your liver, no destroying your kidneys. These are all natural ingredients that your body understands, and you flush things out naturally. So even though I have health care at work and I do pay, I don't really pay that much for it. It's pretty minimal. It's like $100 a month. And it's a PPO, so I don't have to go through that thing where I got to wait, 3 months to go see a specialist or whatever. But at any rate, so I'm going down the homeopathic route, and I'm starting to get on these natural remedies, and I'm actually at the point now where I'm going to create my own garden, grow my own mushrooms, and do everything on my own. And no, I'm not a doctor, but thank God that there's PhDs out there that understand the human body, and they understand the natural remedies. So I'm going to go that route, and hopefully I'll live to, like what the Bible says, 120 years. Not, but I'm going to try. I'm going to do my damnedest. I'm like my grandmother. I'm stubborn. But so my conclusion on all this, especially with the stem cell therapy, I mean, I don't know if you could classify stem cell as natural, but it's not a drug. It's a stem cell. I mean, it comes from stem cells of brains, I guess, I don't know if it really comes from babies or if they manufacture. I didn't really do that kind of research on it. I did basically research on the results, and the results were just phenomenal. So I did it. But anyway, it's changed my life. It's been awesome. So anyway, so the conclusion I came to is, if it's going to permanently fix you in a healthy way, our current healthcare system will not pay for it. Instead, they pay for all these chemicals, and they pay all these entities to do all this stuff that never, in the end, really solves your issues. Like I said before, I mean, cancers. I mean, I didn't know this until I got into the homeopathic route, but there are a lot of natural roots and herbs and flowers and leaves that cleanse your body of all these bad toxins with no side effect. So I'm thinking, if I'm a doctor, why would I pump my patient up full of drugs and create more problems and more ailments Why would I do that? I'm supposed to, supposedly I took a Hippocratic oath to do no harm, but yet I'm shoving all these chemicals down my patients and creating more havoc with their bodies. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, doesn't matter. I've made my choice, and my choice is not to go down the chemical path. I'm going to go down to the path of God, and I'm going to go down the path of nature, because again, like I said, I believe that these things are here for us, because my belief is we're all one thing. I mean, we're part of the planet. We came from the planet. We're all made from the same particles. I think I've talked about this before. We're all made from the same stuff. So it only makes sense to me that to use Mother Nature, to use the earth to heal my body is the correct way to do it. And since I've been going down this route, my mind is clear. I feel better. I have more energy. Not quite there yet, but I'm getting healthier and healthier. And I feel really good. Today, I feel pretty good. I still have body aches, but I believe that's probably just an age factor. And it doesn't help that I haven't actually started getting back to my my exercising and back to my physical things that I know that are going to help my body. I haven't gotten to that point yet. My back is still a little sore, but I'm a lot better off. And all I can tell people is, before you go see a doctor for certain things, even diabetes. I mean, there's natural remedies to help your pancreas. There's natural herbs and roots and stuff like that that will adjust your insulin levels. There's natural things for your eyes, which I'm going to start taking, because I don't know if I'd mentioned it earlier, but I just had eye surgery. I'm getting my lenses replaced. I already had the right one. I don't know if you noticed, but I have glasses on today. And I can see my computer screen. I can read my notes. So that was a solution. But of course, my healthcare didn't pay for that. I had to pay for that out of my own pocket. They covered some of it, but most of it was out of my own pocket. And that's what I'm getting to. That, and I think I already said this, but if it's going to fix you, the healthcare system is not going to pay for it. So my my advice is, if your healthcare says no, we're not paying for this, go do it. Because it's probably going to work, and you're probably going to end up better in the long run, because every time they tell me no and I go do those things, I wind up in better shape, and I wind up healthier and happier. It's just, it's mind boggling, and it's crazy, but everybody get off the drugs, get off of them. I mean, I do realize that there's some medications like high blood pressure medication, but like, as far as like, let's take cholesterol, for example. I can remember when I was younger, I was having a little bit of cholesterol issues. So I was lucky, I had a really good doctor at the time. He was incredible. He was old school doctor. So what does he tell me? Because I'm thinking, oh my God, here I go. I'm on freaking pills. I don't want to be on pills. And he just laughed. He says, no. He goes, not unless an avocado's a pill. And I said, avocado? I said, California apple? Oh, yeah. I grew up on avocados. I love avocados. Yep. Eat one a day for 30 days. Go back, go do your blood test again, and let's see. So I did. Ate the avocados, and I've been eating them regularly ever since then, and my cholesterol stays perfect. That's just one example. So at any rate, conclusion number 10. Healthcare system is a big scam. Be aware. Do your research. Try to find a homeopathic way. And my best advice to you is go homeopathic. All right, everybody. That's the end of this show today. And I hope I taught you something. Hope you learned.